Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk and I am an integrative health practitioner. What does that mean? It means that within integrative health, our boundaries are natural. And we dive deep into your symptoms and why they're happening via functional lab testing and just really sitting down and discussing your symptoms, how long they've been going on, and by utilizing different modalities via traditional Chinese medicine, nutrition, Ayurvedic medicine, we find protocols that actually rebalance you and get rid of the symptoms instead of just putting a Band-Aid on them. So that's what integrative health is. And over the last, 33 weeks or so, we have, taken a lot of different deep dives. And today, because it is still January, and I did a podcast earlier in the month about resolutions and why they don't work. And I wanted to dive deep into diets because diet culture is huge. And I hate the word diet because it all automatically has a super negative connotation. But when I'm talking about diets, I'm talking about the different things that we try to either lose weight or get healthy. And typically we start them in January because January is the time that, we're renewing ourselves. We're trying to get healthy. We're trying to lose the weight. And so I wanted to go into all the different types of diets that are out there. And quite honestly, it's super overwhelming. And I had no idea how many there were because I literally do not put people on diets. I just coach them into healthy eating. And we work with your body, mind, and spirit just all together to make you healthy because in, ancient Ayurvedic times where Ayurvedic medicine is the oldest medicine, it dates back over 6,000 years, and people weren't heavy. So when I talk to people about losing weight, it's really about getting your body healthy first because a healthy body cannot be overweight. So we're going to talk about a lot of different diets, and then I'm going to tie it all up and talk about how simple it actually can be versus all the confusion out there, the multi-billion-dollar diet industry. And so we're going to break for a little quick commercial, and then we'll come back and we will dive into these diets and the myths.
Hello? Your health is calling. Feeling bloated, low on energy, dealing with hormone imbalances? Integrative health coach Sue Kostyk is here to assist you. Reach out to Sue for practical health solutions guided by her professional training as a holistic coach. Sue specializes in identifying the underlying causes of health issues and restoring balance. Don't let your health concerns impact your well-being. Contact Sue Kostyk today at 917-362-5176 or via email at sue@symmetryhealthandwellness.com and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.
You've been watching Hello, Your Health is Calling. Join me as we dive into the realms of longevity, nutrition, stress management, and toxin removal, all without the use of harsh pharmaceuticals. And now, back to the show. Okay, welcome back. So we're going to dive in, and like I said earlier, I was kind of amazed when I just put in there What are the different diets out there that people are doing? It was unbelievable because, we've all heard of the keto, the paleo, Mediterranean, all those things, but they're literally, and they actually categorized them for me, which is great. So we're going to start with the weight loss diets that are out there. So when people want to lose weight and you type in, how can I lose weight? What diet can I do? These are the ones that are typically going to pop up. And just spilled my water. Okay. Let's be real. So, the number one, and I really believe this to be true, is a lot of people do jump to the ketogenic diet. And this diet is very high fat. It's low carb, and it's not even really high protein. It's more like moderate protein. So the idea is to put your body into a state of ketosis so that you are burning the fat in your body, or the fat that you're eating. And so I think that that's like one of the number one diets. Now, I'm not saying that any of these are wrong. Most of them, people are successful on them. But the whole purpose of my podcast today is to kind of debunk the fact that you have to go on a specific diet to get certain results. And so I'm not saying that any of these are wrong, and there's no shame. So if people are comfortable on any one of these diets, then you need to do it, and Godspeed. So the second one, paleo, it emphasizes whole foods, which is great. The only thing it does is it avoids grains, dairy. It also avoids processed foods, which is amazing. A lot of people have a lot of success with paleo diets. The only problem is you're eliminating a macronutrient, and the same thing with the ketogenic diet is you're eliminating a macronutrient. So at the end of this, when I start wrapping it up, I'm going to go over macronutrients and what that means. So then we're going to the low carb diet, where it restricts carbohydrates. It's high protein, high fat. Again, you're eliminating an entire macronutrient. So people aren't necessarily getting a lot of vegetables and fruits and things like that. So then we have the low fat diet, which is kind of self-explanatory. It reduces fat while increasing carbs and protein. So, when we talk about carbohydrates, I think people just automatically think about pasta and bread and potatoes. Carbohydrates covers fruits and vegetables, grains, and all those things. So, when you're doing a low fat diet, again, you're eliminating a macronutrient category. So then there's the intermittent fasting, which seems to be all the rage now. Some people are fasting for 16 hours and then eating whatever they want in their 8-hour feeding window. And so while intermittent fasting is definitely healthy and good for you because you want to give your liver that chance to clean out, those timings are not necessarily the best for you. So again, none of these are bad. So I'm not saying you should not do any of these. I'm just saying, there's definitely ways that I can help you through each one of these diets to make sure that it's healthy and sustainable. And then the final weight loss one is counting calories. The old adage of calories in, calories out, making sure that you're in a deficit, caloric deficit, so that you are losing those pounds. Again, none of these are bad. It's just we want to debunk why it's not sustainable. So then, the second category is medical and therapeutic diets, because there's a lot of things that occur in our bodies that we need to maybe adjust certain intakes if we do have certain problems going on, diseases, what have you. So again, none of them are bad. All of them are helpful, but we need to be able to recognize where they fit in our life. So the Mediterranean diet, it's all over the internet. There's books. There's so many recipe books out there. Now, the Mediterranean diet does follow along with the blue zones. And I've talked about the blue zones before. And if you ever want to go back and catch up on any of my podcasts, they all live in YouTube at the Reinvented Life Network. Hello, Your Health is Calling. So I have talked about the blue zones when we were in our longevity podcast. And the blue zones is where the healthiest people on the planet live, the ones that have the longest longevity, they have the most centurions. And so a lot of people are following the Mediterranean diet. The DASH diet, I never heard of this, but this is the diet that is supposed to be helpful with hypertension. And honestly, if you have high blood pressure, there are many, many dietary things that you can follow that will help you stay off that medication. Um, Again, I'm not saying anything's bad, but when you are taking medication to lower your blood pressure, it's really just putting a band-aid on the symptom. You're not getting into a situation where you can actually truly have low blood pressure. And there's many dietary things that you can do. You know, there's people that are very, very gluten sensitive. Celiac disease, you know, another one of those things that over the course of the years we found that so many people are more gluten sensitive. And in all honesty, we're finding out that it's not necessarily the gluten, but it's the pesticides that are being sprayed on the crops that people are sensitive to. You go to another country that pesticides like glyphosate is outlawed, you can eat the bread, you can eat the pasta. So gluten-free, a lot of people gluten sensitive, low FODMAP. So, there's a little typo in there. So FODMAP is for people who have a lot of irritable bowel symptoms. It's avoiding the monosaccharides, the saccharides, those kind of things. And there's a whole diet out there. So again, these are medical, these are therapeutic diets, and people who do suffer from that should follow these typical diets. So if you need more information on those, and if you are taking certain medications for things and maybe want to pursue getting off of them, you know, contact me. We can talk about it and maybe even do some testing to see exactly what's going on. And following these diets, not even for the rest of your life, but just for a little time, will be very helpful in overcoming some of that. The anti-inflammatory diet, I talk about this ad nauseum. It's the first thing that I put my clients on when they come to me because, you know, an anti-inflammatory diet basically is whole food, nothing processed, and eliminating some foods that can be inflammatory when eaten over and over and over again. A lot of people believe that they need to eat chicken and broccoli and egg whites, and that's all that they can eat. So one thing that causes inflammation is when you eat those things over and over again, and then your body reacts, and then you end up not losing weight. And so that's just an idea of the anti-inflammatory diet. And you know, I have actually a website you can actually go to. It's aboutyourgut.com, and that will give you the anti-inflammatory diet for free. So that's another good way to just jump in and get started. So the third category is plant-based diets. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do these. I'm not saying that they're bad. But what I am saying is whenever you are eliminating a food group or a macronutrient, then you're going to run into some problems because the way that we were created is that we need the nutrients from each macronutrient category. We need from carbohydrates, fats, and protein. That's how we were created. That's why there's 3 macronutrients. So, you know, you have your vegetarian diet, which is fruits, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats. There's vegan, which has 0 animal product at all. And so vegan diets actually come under a lot of scrutiny because People are saying that you can't get enough protein. You know, if you do want to subscribe to a vegan lifestyle, then knowing how to use the vegetables and the beans and the grains to get your protein in is super, super important. Now, a lot of people subscribe to a vegan diet and use, these processed plant-based things that taste like meat. A lot of our plant-based milk, it's not milk, it's a there's no such thing as almond milk or oat milk or anything like that. It's a beverage. But a lot of times these are so highly processed and they use really, really bad seed oils that they end up doing so much more harm. So again, get with me. Let's talk about it. There's so many ways that you can incorporate these different diets and maintain great health. So then there's flexitarian. That just means that it's mostly plant-based, but then you do add some seafood, some fish in there. Raw vegan, completely raw, nothing cooked, always unprocessed, which is great. I think if you're going to go vegan lifestyle, raw vegan is the best because you're not incorporating those highly processed foods that are adding all those seed oils and chemicals and everything to make it taste like something that it's not. So those are the plant-based. And so the next category is going to be the performance diets. And, a lot of people are into body composition and competitions and performance, and they're athletes, and that's like a whole category in and of itself. And usually when people are on these diets, they're really they're working with someone who knows what they're doing. So when they're on an extremely high protein diet, they're being coached through this. Now, high protein diets, which is very similar to ketogenic diets or, low carb diets, they are dangerous if you don't know what you're doing because it's really super hard on your endocrine system when you are only eating high protein. So being aware of, what the long-term things could happen, all of these are really good in the short term and you will get your results that you need. But working with someone who knows what they're doing is really, really important when you're doing these performance or body composition diets. The zone diet, oh my gosh, I remember that came out in the 90s, maybe early 80s. And this also, it balances macronutrients, but everybody's bio-individual. So it's the 40-30-30. It's 40% carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fat. But when you do the same thing over and over again, your body gets used to it. It settles into homeostasis, and then it stops working. So that's where, these are short-term fixes. So if you want to adhere to any one of these, just keep in mind that it really should be utilized short-term. Carb cycling. Let's go back to zone in for a second. When I talk about macronutrients, we do work with people on macro dieting. And so you may start at a 40-30-30 for a couple weeks, but then we're going to change it up. We're going to make your body uncomfortable so that it never gets used to any one ratio. And then you start to figure out where you feel the most comfortable. And then you can start eating intuitively and knowing where your body feels the best. So carb cycling, you're alternating between high and low carbs based on how you're working out or what your activity level is. It's another way of just keeping your body tricked a little bit so that it never gets into that comfort zone where it feels like it's safe and then it doesn't work anymore. So the bodybuilding diet, there's a lot of, it focuses on calorie, it focuses on managing macronutrients. It's very restrictive. And it's not for anybody outside of the body composition, bodybuilding world. It's really, talk about setting yourself up for failure if you're not in that position where you're wanting to change your body composition drastically in a short period of time. So those are the ones that are for performance, body competition. There's the popular diets. Now, like I said, I did some research before I did this, and so the categories are interesting to me. So then this last one, the popular diets, um, it's the Whole30, it's eliminating sugar, alcohol, grains, dairy, legumes. It's extremely restrictive. Can we advance to the next slide, please? And it's one of those things where for 30 days you are just like in this super restrictive mode. So I don't know about you, I don't have time for that. But a lot of people do it. A lot of people are successful with it. And then there's the one meal a day. So, that kind of goes along with the intermittent fasting. People who intermittent fast for and have just a really short window, like there's even some that do like only a 4-hour feeding window. Our bodies were made to digest food every 3 hours or so, maybe every 4 hours. So when you're only giving it one meal a day, it's not really able to, get the nutrients and stuff out of it. Now, if you want to do this on a fasting, like if you're wanting to do some fasting and you're maybe doing a functional medicine fast where you're giving yourself some nutrients throughout the day and then you just have one meal a day, that's a different story. But only having one meal a day is not necessarily the way to go. It's another thing that's going to set you up for failure because we're made to eat. So having one meal a day. Alkaline diet, there's a lot of rules of thumb about alkalinity and acidity in our bodies and how that helps us function. So a alkaline diet is very beneficial to many groups of disease, people who are fighting diseases. And, it's like you pretty much are on a vegetarian diet, but it's kind of confusing because you have to have a list of foods that are high alkaline, low acid. So again, none of these are bad. None of these are bad. I'm not saying don't do them. I'm just trying to give you some information around it. So then there's the blood type diet. Now, this one is really, really interesting to me because my mother, who to me was a pioneer in all of this health and wellness that I am so passionate about, I think back in the 80s, she started following the blood type diet. And she was very, very passionate about it, about how you eat for your blood type, because your blood is responsible for digestion, and certain blood types evolved over time, and certain blood types are very new. So it's super interesting. There's a lot of books out of it. It's based on your blood type. It is restrictive, so you want to pay attention to that. And then volumetrics, it's low calorie, high volume foods that make you full. So I would say it's more like a high fiber diet over anything else. But again, all of these, you take all of these different diets and you can pick really good things out of them. But there's always going to be restrictions that you don't necessarily want to follow. There's always going to be, things that are not sustainable. So the last category is the restrictive diets, or the cultural diets, sorry. And so these were the three that popped up. The Ayurvedic diet, it's based on, this can be a whole other podcast, because in Ayurveda, there are doshas or body types. And it's highly believed within this culture that everything that you do, exercise, diet, emotions, hormones, everything about you is dictated on your dosha or your body type. So it's really interesting. And I may do a podcast about it because it makes a lot of sense. But that's one of the cultural diets. The Asian diet, it's, another one of those blue zone diets, lots of fresh food, lots of seafood, teas. The Nordic diet, kind of the same thing. It focuses on seafood, it focuses on vegetables, grains, everything. So, you know, again, in the blue zones, we talked about the longest living people on the planet. They really only eat whole food and move a lot, have a lot of community. So, you know, what I love to do with my clients is stop making it hard. I mean, can we just stop making it so hard? It's so confusing. We're bombarded daily by so much information about what to eat, what not to eat. I mean, we really need to stop making it hard, because healthy living and, eating right, it should not be complicated. And if we could move to the next slide, please. The, taking all of the aggravation out of it. I think one of the biggest reasons, if you can Google this too, 90% of diets fail. And in January, when people start something, especially a weight loss program or a diet, it fails by the third week of January. And you know what? There's no shame. I mean, it's like it's going on a fad diet. It kind of sets you up for failure, actually. And you don't know what you don't know. And that's why I'm here. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine on Tuesday, and we were talking about different things. And I started throwing out these terms and stuff. And she's like, I don't know what that is. And it's macros. She's like, I don't know what that is. And she's very smart. And she had her own super health journey. So she knows the basics. But so that's why I want to do these podcasts, is just to help you along what you don't know. I've done an incredible amount of studying, so I apologize because I feel like everybody should know this, but you don't, and it's not your fault. So instead of making it hard, all we need to do is eat whole food and eat what God gave us. The earth, if it comes from the earth, it's good for you. Eat whole food. Ditch the snacks, which is really processed food. Ditch the ultra processed foods. That's where my clients have the highest success, is when they start eating 3 whole meals a day. Ditch the snacks, ditch the highly processed food. If it comes in a box, if it comes in a can, if it comes in a carton, read the label. If there's more than 3 to 5 ingredients and you can't pronounce them, ditch it. You don't want it. It's becoming more and more fact. You can find it anywhere, that seed oils have become really such a problem with all of our diseases and all of our health issues. So eat whole foods, ditch the snacks, all the macros. So like I said earlier, macronutrients, proteins, carbs, fats. Those are the 3 macronutrients. And there's healthy ones. And if you actually get my anti-inflammatory food list, it's aboutyourgut.com. It's free. Just get it. It will tell you what to eat. It tells you all the macronutrients, what the fats are, what the grains are, what the healthy vegetables are, what the good proteins are. And whether you're vegan or you're paleo or meat eater, whatever it is, this list gives you what you need. So our bodies, I talk about it. This is again the Ayurvedic, and it's also traditional Chinese medicine. All of these old medicines They all understand how the body works. We were created so intrinsically that our body can heal itself if we give it what it needs. So if you eat and burn food during daylight, now, okay, I know daylight saving times, it gets dark at 4 o'clock. So I don't want to go to the extremes, but you get what I'm talking about. So 3 hours before you go to bed, stop eating. So we're meant to eat and burn fat during the day. During the night, our bodies clean house. So as we sleep, and that's where fasting comes in, if you give your body 10 to 12 hours of no digestion, then your body's able to clean house. It's able to get rid of all the toxins and, everything that it needs. So if you kind of adhere to some of those practices, you're going to find that you're feeling better, you're sleeping better, the weight is coming off. Again, please get in touch with me. The next slide, I have all the ways that you can get in touch with me. Some people, if you are experiencing a dis-ease, and I'm going to say dis-ease because it's really your body is giving you a signal. My podcast is called Hello, Your Health is Calling, because these symptoms are a signal. It's just like your car that has a check engine light. When it comes on, it means there's something going on. You may want to get to the mechanic. And so we do functional lab testing. We get to the root cause of what is going on and why you're having these symptoms. Don't just put a Band-Aid on it, because that Band-Aid is only going to allow the symptom to get bigger. And then you're going to need another Band-Aid. And then you're going to need another Band-Aid. And that's how our pharmaceutical industry it works, so that you just keep taking the different pharmaceuticals. So get in touch with me. I would love to have a chat. You can actually go on my website, symmetryhealthandwellness.com. You can schedule a free call. Just chat. And then we can find out if we're a match. But if your health is calling, then please answer it and get to whichever mechanic you need to get to, because the light's not going to go off. And your health is not a hobby. Your health is your number one asset. And it is the way that you are going to live a long, fun life. So thanks for watching. And let me know what you think. Let me know if there's a topic you want. support@helloyourhealthiscalling.com is my email. And I'm happy to take suggestions. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health, and remember, your health is calling.